and welcome to Checkpoint. Yeah, I'm so glad you are here today. As a matter of fact, I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you and thank you and thank you for all that you do for us here at Checkpoint. Thank you for liking our videos. Thank you for subscribing to our videos. Thank you for sharing, all right? Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of the Checkpoint family. And for all that you do, we are truly, truly very, very glad that you are here. So I want to welcome you especially to today's Checkpoint. I have so much to share with you today. I'd like you to go ahead. Please invite somebody. Please don't watch this alone. All right? Invite somebody by your side. Have a community. Gather everybody in your house. Tell them, come together. Let's watch Checkpoint, because I have something interesting to share with you today. Don't go anywhere. Keep sharing. I'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. I'm so glad you are all here. Oh, I have so much I need to share with you today, and I'm glad that you are right here with me. Please, if you are online at this moment, do share a comment, all right? Say something. Type in something. Let me know that you are here with me at Checkpoint. Please don't allow me to do Checkpoint alone today. I'd like you to be a part of it. All right? Invite everybody, and let's do this together, okay? Now, today on Checkpoint, it's going to be super interesting. Let's do this together. So today on Checkpoint, I have a very, very interesting topic to share with you. Yes. I see people coming in. Patrick Musa, you are lifted for life. Mariana Polo, my numero uno actress. Welcome. I'm glad you are here. Sister Kaite Oham, I'm so glad you are here. Thank you so much. How are you doing today? Hope you are good. All right, let's do this together. So today on Checkpoint, I have a topic I want to share with you, and the topic is the tragedy of codependency. The tragedy of codependency. Someone would ask and say, oh wow, why am I using the something that sounds so negative and so unhappy? But honestly, when you learn how bad this can be, then you will know that it's something that you really want to avoid. All right, so today's topic is the tragedy of codependency. Yes, thank you, Favor Peter. She said, looking good, mommy. Thank you so much. At TV, welcome. I'm so glad everyone is here right now. Okay, so today we're talking about the tragedy of codependency. And somebody will ask, what really is codependency? Let me start by saying that codependency is an unhealthy dependence on relationships. Let me take it again. Codependency is an unhealthy dependence on relationships, where you have to depend on the affirmation of somebody else, where you have to depend on the validation of somebody else, where you have to depend on the affection of somebody else in order to have feelings of self-worth or feelings of belongingness. So it means that if somebody does not approve of you, you will not have this feeling like you belong, like you matter, like you are important. And this is something that troubles many people. Now, when we're talking about codependency, I'd like you to know first and foremost that codependency is not a problem for married people only. It is not equally a problem for singles only. Codependency can happen in any form of relationship. It can happen in a relationship between a father and a child and a son, or a father and a daughter. It can happen in a relationship between a mother and a son. It can happen in a relationship between people who are about to get married. It can happen in a relationship between people who are already married. So this issue of codependency is so vast, and it affects so many people, because there are some people who they do not love themselves enough. They do not believe in themselves enough. They do not appreciate themselves enough. In fact, them loving themselves is going to be dependent on another person loving them. So they do not know how to love themselves well. They do not know how to love themselves right. And when you see the word codependency, it simply means you see people holding on to relationships that are not healthy for them. They hold on to relationships that are not good for them because their feelings of being a person, their feelings of being important or being worthy is derived from the relationship. So you see somebody is in an unhealthy relationship, and despite the fact that the relationship is unhealthy for you, you are stuck with that relationship because you believe that that relationship is tied to your relevance. Then that is a problem. That's what we call codependency. Thank you so much, Naya Chioba, who said powerful topic. Thank you. Absolutely powerful, because this is ruining so many people's lives. Thank you, Nonso Lawrence. I'm glad you are here. I'm so glad you are here. Welcome. All right. So when a person is codependent, this person has problems of feeling, or will I say feelings of abandonment. This person holds on to a relationship to avoid that feeling of abandonment. This person does not want to let go because he or she will feel alone and rejected and all to themselves. You know, when somebody is going through this kind of relationship, this kind of issue of codependency, you see that this person has an extreme need, a very extreme need for approval, a very extreme need for recognition. As a matter of fact, if the person is not appreciated, if the person is not recognized, it becomes a problem. Engineer Chibuzo Marcus, welcome. I'm glad you are here. Thank you for joining me tonight. Martha Daniel, welcome. You're absolutely right. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really glad that all of you are here right now and being with me on this program. So codependency, like I said earlier, is an unhealthy dependence on relationships. We know people like this. Yes, you watching me right now. You know that brother, you know that sister, you know that niece, you know that nephew, you know that uncle or that aunt. They are in a relationship that it's obviously not okay for them. And what are they doing? They are holding on to the relationship. So they see abuse, yet they hold on to the relationship. They see a serial behavior of negligence, and they still hold on to that relationship. They know, in fact, as I would say, some people have red flags, while some people have red signboards in relationship. Let me say this again. We are talking about, we emphasize, we talk so much on, please notice some red flags in your relationship and avoid it. Meanwhile, some people have seen the red signboard, and despite it's the red signboard, they are stuck with the relationship. They don't want to let go, even though they know that this is not healthy for them, even though they know this is not okay for them. They hold on to it, and this is what we call codependency. When somebody is codependent, the person is in a relationship. Sometimes the challenge that happens in this relationship is that this person is dependent on another person to the point of being dependent mentally, which means if they ask you any question, you cannot even answer, all right, until the person comes and answers for you. Some others are dependent on the other partner emotionally, so they cannot be happy if the other person is not happy. They cannot be joyful until the other person is joyful. They are dependent on them physically, which means they can't even do anything without the other person present. Some of them are even dependent on another person spiritually, which means that no matter what happens, in fact, we know people like this who can never pray in their homes, who can never cast out any demon, despite the fact that they have been tongue-speaking believers and they have been Bible-reading believers for a very long time. Anything that happens, they will call their pastor, because there is this codependency on the pastor. Listen to me, you need to have a personal encounter for yourself. Baby, yes, red signboard, absolutely. I'm glad you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, Mariana Polo, what an eye-opening topic. Thank you, absolutely. Please share. Everyone, do me a favor, share. There are so many people in this hot pepper soup. In fact, if I call it pepper soup, it looks sweet. Hot pepper. Many people like this hot pepper. of life, and they don't know how to let go. That is why I have been sent as a messenger of deliverance for them tonight. Honestly, believe me, codependency has been killing so many people, destroying so many people. You know, there was a particular guy I met recently, and I asked him, why are you still in this relationship? If you see the way the lady behaves, this lady will abuse him, abuse his mother, abuse his sisters, abuse all. I'll be like, what is this? And the guy was like, I've been in this relationship for 5 years. I have spent 5 whole years in this relationship. I can't even stop now. And I'm like, what? If you have cancer in your body and you get an opportunity to get rid of it, would you not gladly cut it off? So why would you just remain in a relationship because you think you have invested 5 years? This guy was in that relationship. He told me, Mama, do you know, I have told everybody. Everybody knows us as a couple. So what? You guys have not married. You guys have not wedded. So why are you in a relationship that is unhealthy for you? And you're telling me you spent 5 years. Listen to me and listen well. Codependency will only cause more heartbreak. Codependency will only cause more pain. Codependency will only cause more frustration. If you know that 5 years that you have invested in this relationship is not okay for you, what do you do at that point? If you have already spent 5 years, what are you still doing there? At least cut off that relationship so that you can have another 5 years of bliss, another 10 years of sweetness, another 15 years of mutual respect. The fact that you have been insulted for the last 5 years does not mean you should continue having that same kind of relationship. Whether you are a male, whether you are a female, I'd like you to listen to me. Codependency is an unhealthy dependence on another person. Believe you me, it is good for us to have help. It is good for people to help us once in a while. It is good for people to reach out to us. You know, it is good for people to assist us in one way or the other. But listen to me. When your entire life depends on another person, when you're relevant, you cannot be useful until the person comes around. You cannot breathe. Then there is a problem somewhere. Even couples who love themselves so much, they should come to that point where they, even though they are a couple, married legally, but then they have their own individual lives and they contribute happiness to each other. Woo! My darling husband, Bishop Okudilieze, is here. He said, powerful word. This is powerful. Absolutely, my darling. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So this issue of codependency is something that we may have seen it, but we may not have had a name for it. And I have come tonight to give you a name for it. Codependency in a relationship is when one person is involved, too much with another person to the point that the person is completely reliant on the other person. You find yourself, in fact, if you finish dressing up and the person does not tell you you're looking good, then you will never believe you're looking good. You will never be confident until the person says it. Listen to me. I know you may be in love, but despite being in love, please have what we call self-worth. Have what we call value yourself. My husband would always say that value placement is not arrogance. When you place value on who you are, you know that you are worth something. You know that you are enough. You know that you are capable. When you know that for yourself, nobody will do this for you. Many people are working as big, huge, gigantic, beautiful, full-blown adults, but then they have this issue. They have no value for themselves. They have no worth for themselves. They do not believe in themselves. They do not value themselves. This is a problem. So codependency, like I've been shouting and screaming from my lungs, that it is an unhealthy relationship where somebody becomes very dependent on the other person, holds on to a relationship that is not healthy for them, will do anything to remain in that relationship, because the person does not want to have feelings of abandonment. The person does not want to be alone. The person does not want to go back to the level that they used to be. You know, there are several reasons why people practice this codependency behavior, and it's a behavior that needs to stop. All right, I see my wonderful, wonderful David Eze. David, welcome, King David. I'm glad you joined me tonight. Oh, this night is really beautiful. I have everybody joining and it's amazing. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad you did. All right, so let me show you quickly the signs of codependency. How do you know that a person is actually codependent? A person is having these feelings of codependent. The person is over reliant on another person for their own self-worth. In fact, I've seen somebody like that. If a woman, she went to the hospital and she was about to deliver, and her husband had traveled, and then it happened that in the course of trying to deliver, there were complications. So she needed to be she needed to have CS, like a cesarean session, and have surgery to deliver her baby. You won't believe what happened. They asked this woman, "It is time for us to do surgery for you. Do you have anybody you can call?" She said yes, her husband. And they tried to call the husband. The network was poor. It will say network is number is not available. After a while, it will ring, connect, and then it will drop. And they kept trying. And this woman's case was severe. They needed an emergency C-section on her at the moment. This woman said no, that she cannot do surgery. She cannot allow the doctors to do surgery on her until her husband came. They told her, your life depends on this. Do you know? You won't believe that when they eventually got this man on phone, this man was like 2 hours away from the location of the hospital. This man answered them on phone and told them, don't touch my wife until I come back. Like the doctors were trying to explain to him, your wife needs this surgery now. We tried to give her a normal vaginal birth and she is not delivering the child. If we don't do surgery on her right now, everything will get spoiled. She might even lose her life. The baby might even die. And this man said, no, don't do surgery on my wife till I come back. See, listen to me. There is a point where you know that this is no longer love. This is pure foolishness. All right, this is no longer love. They had this kind of codependency on themselves. This woman could not make one single decision that was right for her life. The husband, on the other hand, was just feeling like if he was not there to make that decision, that the life of his wife was in his hands. Men and brethren, ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe, I am not happy to announce that this woman eventually died simply because of codependency. So when I'm talking about codependency, don't take it lightly. Don't take it as one of those Oyibo terminologies. Listen to me. It is something that is damaging people's lives. It is something that is destroying people's lives. Woo! I see. Danny Beats, my boy. Welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm so excited. All right. The anointed drummer, Kefas Shedrack. Welcome. I'm glad you are here. Oh, tonight is amazing, amazing. I see such official. Welcome, welcome, Joshua. I'm so glad you are here. Thank you so much, wonderful people, for joining me tonight on Checkpoint. I'll keep calling the names as we go so that we do not spend so much time calling out all the names. All right. So number one sign that you are having this dangerous, this unhealthy dependence. Number one sign is that you have this tendency to do more than you are supposed to do. You have this overwhelming need to do something. You want to, maybe in a relationship. Have you heard people say something like this in a relationship? I have been doing everything. I've been doing everything to make the relationship work. I have done everything and anything. There is nothing I cannot do to make this relationship work. Listen to me. In as much as you feel that way, it is also important that the other person in the same relationship feels the same way you are feeling. You cannot individually feel like the survival of the relationship lies on your shoulder. See, I always say this, that two can make a relationship work. Only two can make a relationship work. But only one can destroy that relationship entirely. So if you're in a relationship and you always have this urgent need to do everything, to handle everything, to be in control, to be in charge, to make sure that you are the only one making, see, that is a codependency. Do you know there are people who are in a relationship and the other person they're in a relationship with is doing absolutely nothing to contribute to the well-being of that relationship? Meanwhile, the other person, on the other hand, is doing everything, going over and beyond. In fact, even acting like a slave because he or she wants to make that relationship work. What are they afraid of? Feelings of abandonment. How will I leave this guy? How will I leave this lady and start afresh? That is what we call codependency. If you don't know that you have it, it is now a current disease. Codependency. That is the name of the disease. If you think you cannot live without somebody in a relationship with, something is definitely wrong with you. So that is codependency. All right, back to serious business. Another sign, number 2 sign that you are having these feelings, these signs, this what we call codependency, is that you have this acute fear of losing a relationship. Acute fear. Like you, how many of you watched Coming to America? Do you remember that movie? You watched Coming to America, where the prince was supposed to get married, and then he asked the lady, what food do you like to eat? He said, anything you like, my majesty. He said, what do you like to eat? He said, anything you like, my majesty. He said, what can you do? He said, anything you want me to do, your majesty. Then he now said, bark like a dog. She started barking like a dog. Like, seriously? You know, she had this fear. In her mind, she believes she has been raised. She has been trained. Everything about her life was moving forward to this particular day where she gets to marry the prince. So the prince did not want somebody who was having this codependency, yes, all right? Who had this issue of codependency, right? So he wanted a lady who could make up her mind, a lady who had a voice of her own, a lady who had her own opinions and could share them. And that was why he went in search for another lady in America, somebody who would be her whole self and at the same time be able to love him like he wanted to be loved. And this is important. Codependency is a problem. When I hear some ladies, I've asked some ladies some questions in the past, like, what's your vision for life? What's your purpose? They'll say, no, I don't have a vision. No, I don't have a purpose. I'll just get married and the vision of my husband becomes mine and the purpose of my husband becomes mine. I know you have been taught to be a very good spouse. But then, in as much as you are going to get married to somebody else, you're going to get married to a husband, I understand the place of submission. I also understand the place of purpose. What we are talking about is that you should have your own purpose. You should have your own values. You should have your own assignment in life. And then what you then do is to marry somebody through whom and with whom you can fulfill your purpose, all right? Through whom and with whom you can fulfill your assignment. Somebody whose purpose and assignment aligns with yours. That's what we're talking about. We're not saying that you should, you have your purpose and then let it clash with that of your spouse. No, that's not what we're saying. When you want to get married, make sure that you have a purpose and that the purpose you have is in alignment with the purpose of the other person. So another sign of codependency is the fear of losing a relationship. Number 3 sign of codependency is this compelling desire to control others, because you feel that your survival or your worth or your relevance is tied to the other person. You now want to control them. You now want to decide how they eat, how they talk, how they walk, how they do everything. Listen to me, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Ask even those people, lovers, couples who love themselves so much. They even give themselves space. A time comes when you have to make up your mind to give space to your spouse. Give your spouse some space to be who he is supposed to be, to be who she's supposed to be. Give them space. This issue, this thing that always makes you want to control them, you want to control how they talk, you want to control it because you don't want anything to go wrong. You are trying to control the person to be in a relationship with you because you don't want to lose the relationship. All of those things are signs of codependency. I'd like to share with you number 4 sign of codependency is when you always apologize. When you're the one always apologizing so that you can keep the peace, all right? I don't mean you should not be a forgiving spouse. I didn't mean you should not be the kind of spouse who understands that there's need for peace. But when you are the only one always apologizing, the other person never ever apologizes. Never ever. Even when they are wrong, you're the one that will apologize. Even when he offends you, you're the one that will apologize. Even when she slaps you, you're the one that will apologize. Something is wrong somewhere. This is another sign of codependency, because you don't want to leave the relationship. You don't want to start all afresh. Listen to me. This codependency does not only happen in loving, in will I say spousal relationships or marital relationships. It also happens with parents. Do you know there is a man who will get married to a wife, but because he has codependency on the father or on the mother, he will never do anything he and his wife agrees upon. Anything he must do must be what mommy said, what daddy said. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything that's not what mommy or daddy said. And then you are a full-blown man and you are married. But then you have this over-reliance, over-dependence on your father. Something is wrong somewhere. Yes, Danny Beats said, have your individual purpose and assignment. Amazing. David Eze said, toxic love. I am telling you. I am telling you. Yes, Bishop Okuleze said, you have a compelling desire to control others. Thank you, darling. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, Mary Sibioti said, fear of losing a relationship. Honestly, it is real. Favor Peter said, you have an acute fear. Yes, that is absolutely what it is. All right. This is a sign. It's a sign of codependency, and it is not healthy at all. You know, Mary C. Beauty said, when you are always the one to say sorry, even when he's the one that is wrong, something is already happening somewhere. So I was telling you that when you're always the one that's trying to apologize, even when the other person is the one doing something wrong, and you make it's like all the time, and you are doing it out of fear of losing the relationship, out of fear of abandonment. You're doing it because you are trying to keep the relationship intact and do everything in your power. That is codependency already knocking on your door. All right. Now, another sign of codependency is doing things that you don't want to do because you want to make another person happy. I'm not talking about those times when you have to sacrifice, okay, for your spouse. I'm not talking about those times you have to compromise for peace to reign. I'm not talking about those times. But when this is a regular, all the time part of your relationship, something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere. That is a sign that something is wrong. All right. Number 6 sign of codependency is when you have feelings of low self-esteem. You do not value yourself. You do not have any regard for yourself. In fact, it is only what he says about you that matters. In fact, it is only what she says about you that matters. You do not have any feelings of self-worth. You don't value yourself. You don't see yourself as anything. Something is wrong somewhere. Listen to me. If you want your relationship to be beautiful, to be blissful, you have to bring in your whole self. There are people who are dead, emotionally dead, numb. All right, they can't feel a thing. That is a sign of codependency. Because without somebody, you can't feel yourself. Without somebody, you can't be your best self. Without somebody, you cannot. Something is wrong somewhere. All right, that's what we're talking about in codependency. When you are doing something, you don't want to do it at all, but because you think it's going to make another person happy, and then you are offending yourself. You are doing things against your values. You are doing things that do not align with your values. You do not align with your purpose. You are doing things that are very, very wrong for you because you want to make another person feel better. It's just like somebody who is in a relationship and he had to steal because he wanted to make somebody comfortable. That ought not to be so. Yes, Naya Chioba, he said codependency, a cancer that eats up the ability to become self-aware. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that contribution. Because you're supposed to know yourself. When we talk about emotional intelligence, self-awareness is the first principle. You need to know yourself. You need to be in tune with yourself. When you know yourself, then you know who can make you happy. When you know yourself, then you know who you can work with. When you know yourself, you know what you have to do to make yourself happy. Nobody's happy. Your happiness is not dependent on anybody at all. But when you now deny yourself happiness just because you want to make another person happy, something is all wrong, and you make it a pattern, something is wrong somewhere. All right, there are people who you see, they focus on another person's happiness, they focus on another person's smile, and what they are doing is negatively impacting their health, is negatively impacting both their physical health and their mental health, their finances. They are not happy, and they know that what they are doing is negatively impacting them, but they're just trying to take care of others. You know, they're just trying to care for somebody, and the person you're caring for is not the least concerned about your welfare. That is codependency, and you really have to work on it. Number 6 sign that you are having this codependency is that when you feel responsible for everyone and everything, you feel very responsible, like you are the one that makes them breathe. Like if you don't do anything about, they will not survive. You know, something is wrong somewhere. When you have to push yourself, you feel like you are responsible for everyone and everything. You know, some people get to the point where they see them, they are people pleasers. They are always afraid of upsetting others, afraid of disappointing others, and they carry this huge burden on their shoulders. That is a sign of codependency, all right? Because you do not want to lose that relationship. It's a problem, and you have to get over it. Number 7 sign of codependency is when you have trouble setting boundaries. You have problems being very assertive. You are not able to be assertive. Assertiveness is your ability to tell somebody that you about something, to say what you want, rather. Assertiveness is your ability to say what you want without offending the other person. So if you do not want a particular thing, if you're not happy about what's happening in your life, you're not happy about how somebody's treating you, you should be able to say it without really offending the other person. And that is what we mean by assertiveness. All right, some people are not able to draw clear boundaries. So you've told yourself you cannot drink, you cannot smoke, but somehow your friends that come over to your house, they'll come and they'll begin to smoke in your house, and they'll begin to drink in your house. And while you're saying that you don't take alcohol, you're not a drunk, eventually you see yourself taking a bottle and a bottle and a half, and then 2 bottles and 2.5 bottles, because you really cannot say no. You don't know how to set boundaries. Then that is what codependency. You know why? You don't want to leave that clique of fresh gangs. You don't want to leave that clique of fresh boys and fresh ladies and upwardly mobile superstars in town, because you want to be a part of something. But listen to me, you can't be a part of everything. You need to have your own stand. You need to believe in yourself. You need to know who you are first and foremost, so that you not see yourself falling into the wrong hands or the wrong relationships. All right, don't come to that point when you're not able to put boundaries. All right, decide, this is what I want. Put structure in your life. You can't put structure in your life. You can't say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and then you are feeling like, oh, if I say what I want, something will go wrong. That is codependency. Do you know that some ladies are so codependent on their father? They can't even trust their husband. They can't even get any single advice from their husband. So their husband is trying to tell them, let's do this. Say, please, let me hear from dad first. I have to talk to my dad first. Listen to me. I was also a daddy's girl, but I was not codependent. All right. I knew what was right for me. I knew what I wanted in my life. In as much as I deeply valued the opinions of my dad, and I deeply loved him, I knew the difference between loving my dad and being what? Codependent. And if you are out there and you're so codependent on your parents when you are married, something is wrong somewhere. Do you know that this does not only happen between parents and children, or between lovers in a marital relationship? This even happens between siblings. Between siblings. Do you know this? And many of us parents, we are responsible in raising codependent children. Let me give you an example. So you had a son first, and eventually you had a daughter. And now, no matter what happens, No matter what happens, you always tell the boy, why are you not looking after your sister? Why are you not feeding your sister? Why are you not giving food to your, drink water to your sister? Why are you not taking care of your sister? Their sister, what the younger wants to do, and she said, go and ask your brother. Do you want anything? Go and ask your brother. Do you need anything? Go and ask your brother. You don't understand anything? Go and ask your brother. You don't even want to groom that child to think for herself. Because she has an elder brother. That elder brother, has he become God in her life? And so we raise them up like that. And then this woman grows into a full-grown woman. And she cannot take a single decision for herself. She cannot even say anything that, okay, this is what I want for my life. She cannot. Anything, she's like anything goes. Any direction that the wind carries her, she enters that direction simply because she's not able to make one single decision in her life. She's not able to make that decision. Because she grew up not making decisions. She grew up having somebody else make those decisions for her. And this is what we call codependency. And at the end of the day, she grows up becoming a codependent adult. And that is nothing as annoying as a codependent adult. An adult who cannot think for himself, who cannot think for herself, who cannot make decisions. Sometimes, even your children, you are raising them to be codependent. You know why? Because you don't allow them to solve their problems. You want to solve all their problems for them. You want to remove all the challenges from their life. Sometimes when the children come to you with problems, please tell them, what do you think is the solution to this problem? What do you think is the way forward with this problem? What do you think is what that we need for this problem? So this is a key. Something that will help you to know that something is wrong somewhere. When you're raising your children, teach them how to solve problems. Give them puzzles and let them do it. Some of them come back home with homework. Allow them to handle those homework by themselves. Allow them to experience some of the problems and solve it. And that way, they will be able to become stronger individuals who can also help others solve their problems. But when you are always taking care of all their needs, solving all their problems, handling everything, then something is wrong somewhere. I'd like to give you maybe a last one. The seventh and the last point. So this will be our finally. The seventh and last point on signs of codependency is when you experience high levels of guilt, high levels of shame, and high levels of frustration, maybe because you want to let somebody who is not okay in your life to go. You say, after all he has done for me. Like a lady, when she didn't know any better, she had this guy contribute to her schooling, and eventually when she had grown up, she found out that this relationship was not healthy for her. This guy was always beating her, and now she was, at least she can take care of herself. Now she's saying, oh, after all the school fees he has paid for me, after all he has done for me, I know he has paid school fees for you, but this beating will one day land you in the grave. So we have to find a way to judge between our sentiments and what is truly good for us. If you are in a relationship, whether with your father or mother, a niece or nephew, a cousin, a sibling, or even a person that you are in love with, please watch out for signs of codependency. When people are codependent, they can't stay on their own. When people are codependent, they want to make decisions for you. They want to live your life. They want to control your life. They want to be very critical. They want to overdo, even at the detriment of their health. That is codependency. So tonight, these are the things I wanted to share with you on codependency. I like to know this. If you have a question right now, right here, I'm going to take that question and I'm going to answer you. That is my promise. So please, do you have a question for me tonight? Any question on codependency, on the things we have shared? If you have, I just take maybe 5 minutes to handle these questions so that we get to know more about codependency. Thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. I'm so glad you are here. Yes, Mary CBT said, I'm back, Mom. Thank you so much, and I'm glad you are back. Yes, Danny B said you need to be assertive. Absolutely. Say what you want and say it nicely without offending someone else. Yes, I'm learning so much tonight. Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you so much, Mary C. Beauty. Bishop Okuleze said the river is flowing. Jesus is glorified now and forevermore. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions tonight? Any question on all we have shared on codependency. Do we have any question? If you have a question, let's do this together and I'll answer it. All right? Learn to know what is best for you. Mary, yes, absolutely. Learn to know what is best for you. And that's why we talk about self-awareness. Be self-aware. Know who you are. Know what you need. Know who you need in your life. And know how best to express what God has placed on your inside. I'm so excited. All of you got to watch with me tonight. Yeah. Watch out for signs of codependency. There are signs, all right? And if you're out there, you're already having this codependency, number one solution I'll offer you is that you should become more self-aware. By being self-aware, you need to know who you are. You need to know what is okay for you. You need to know based on where you're going to, who needs to be in your life. Because if you are on the journey and you put someone like Jonah in your ship when he's in disobedience, he will terminate your journey. He will make you lose things you shouldn't have lost. So you need to know who you are with on the journey of life. Not everybody is fit for the journey. Not everybody is good for you. So codependency is something that will really, really help us in life, that will help us in our relationships, that will improve our life when we understand that there is tragedy in codependency. Rather, we should be able to become our whole individual dependent self so that we will be able to know what is best for us. This is not saying that you should not rely on people. This is not saying that you should not have friends. This is not saying that you should not reach out to people. No. We mean that the one you're doing that is at the detriment of yourself, the detriment of your future, the detriment of your life, that is the one that is codependency. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, we encountered a young couple. Okay, they were not yet a couple, a girl and a guy who wanted to get married. And then this girl was HIV positive. The girl had HIV. And then she was trying to compel the guy to get married to her. This guy did not know that she was HIV positive. But then eventually in the process of counseling and conducting tests and stuff like that, we eventually found out that the girl actually had HIV and the guy did not have HIV at that moment. And this girl manipulated this guy and told him, oh, because you have you've told everybody you want to get married to me. When you dump me, people will begin to ask questions. People will begin to say, what is wrong with me? And then they'll find out what the problem is. I said, all of these reasons you are giving is not sufficient reason why this guy should walk into a trap. You already know you were HIV positive and you didn't even tell him. Thankfully, both of them kept themselves. If not, this guy would have been HIV positive without even knowing it. All right? So she kept saying, oh, everyone will begin to ask questions about me. People will now no longer come my way. People will begin to dump me because I have HIV, because they'll find out that something must have been wrong for you to love me this much and then abandon me. That does not mean that the guy should go ahead and walk into a deadly trap because of all of this. So we were able to cancel them both and told the guy was afraid. He was so afraid. He couldn't just move on, and he looked at the future ahead of him. He didn't see it happening with this situation, and eventually we canceled him and he was able to move on, and eventually he was able to get married to somebody else. And this other lady eventually also got married to somebody else who was also aware of her HIV status and also had HIV. So both of them were able to start taking treatments together and taking care of themselves. So what's the moral of my story? A codependent person will not like it. But you remain assertive. That way, you will not fall into that trap or the tragedy of codependency. All right, this is all I want to share with you tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of Checkpoint tonight. I am so excited that you did. Thank you, and thank you again. Until I come your way again, keep making a positive, indelible mark in the lives of people and on the sands of time. I love you so much. Bye-bye for now. Mwah. everyone. I hope you were blessed by that message. All right, so I want you to just go ahead and support us. If you are led, go ahead and just sow into the account right on the screen. And I know that as you do that, God will bless you big time. Because of the seeds you are sowing, you will be able to reach a wider audience on different platforms. So please do well to sow that seed, and God will bless you. Love you.